Today, we are making a breakfast skillet out of these lovely homegrown oyster mushrooms. We do grow these here on our farm, and it's kind of a neat process. We'll have to show you how it works at another time. I like to make these skillets as an option to use up excess produce and also a lot of extra eggs when we have a lot. So the first thing that we do is we cut up the veggies. In this case, I cut up a few potatoes, onion, green pepper, and garlic, and then we add the mushrooms and saute everything. Next, in a separate skillet, we cook up some pork sausage. I do this because I don't eat meat and my husband does, and so this just kind of helps keep it separated. In our veggie pan, we add garlic powder. I added truffle salt because we had it, but you could also just use regular salt as well. I was pretty generous with the salt because there's quite a few veggies in there and it'll cook down. Next, we need to make the eggs. I opened 8 eggs for this skillet. We're going to season our eggs with dill, pepper, and smoked sea salt. I really like the flavor of smoked sea salt, but you can really use whatever you have or whatever works best for you. Then we beat the eggs together until they're well incorporated in a nice golden yellow color. And then next I added some of our raw Jersey milk, but the milk that you buy at the store is also fine, or water can also work in a pinch. It just makes the eggs fluffier overall and a nice texture. Once you have all of that incorporated, you're going to beat the eggs again. So it looks like our sausage is done, and we can remove it from the pan and then sort of scrape the bottom of it because it gets all of those kind of burnt bits off the bottom, but that adds a lot of flavor. Next, I'll pull some of the sauteed veggies out and finish cooking them in the sausage fat. Again, I only really do this because my husband's not a vegetarian and I am, and I don't really want the sausage in my skillet, but he could appreciate it in his. Next, we need to cook our eggs. So we need to coat our pan, and today I just used margarine as our fat, but really whatever you have on hand would work. You could use butter or any olive oil or lard, just whatever you have that you prefer to coat your pan with. Then we pour in the eggs and cook them on low, periodically shifting them until they're scrambled. I prefer to kind of cook my eggs on a lower heat rather than a higher heat. They do cook faster if you do them on a higher heat, but then you kind of get that rubbery texture and sort of that browning, and I'm not a huge fan of that. So I tend to kind of go the low and slow method, but it's eggs, so they still tend to cook pretty quickly. First thing that we're going to do is put the veggies in a bowl first. Our scrambled eggs follow the veggies. And then we top it off with barbecue sauce, sriracha sauce, sesame seeds, and chives. You could use fresh chives if you have them available. I did not, so I just used dried ones and it works just fine. For my husband's plate, we go ahead and add the sausages to the top, and that is it. That is how we make a breakfast skillet.